It wasn't her resume that made the panel whisper. It wasn't her experience, her skills, or even the calm way she answered every question. It was one single line, scribbled at the very end of her application form, that made everyone stop reading and start staring. 2 words that would cost her every chance, yet somehow, give her everything she truly needed. The conference room smelled faintly of coffee and fresh paper. Rows of chairs lined the hallway, each occupied by a candidate holding a neat folder, eyes darting nervously toward the glass door that led to the interview panel. It was the final round for the position of assistant director at a well-known company, a job hundreds had applied for. Inside, the HR manager, Mr. Naveed, flipped through applications as though searching for a needle in a haystack. And at the very bottom of the pile was her, Ayesha Malik, 29 years old, dressed in a simple beige shower kameez, holding a worn leather folder. When she walked in, she didn't have the forced smile most candidates carried. Her voice was steady but soft. "Good morning," she greeted, placing her file gently on the table. Mr. Naveed scanned her CV. It was decent. Not extraordinary. Experience in 2 small companies, a few certificates. She answered each question with calm clarity, never overselling herself, never fumbling. But when he reached the last page of her application form, his brow furrowed. At the bottom, where the form asked relationship status, she hadn't written single, married, or divorced. Instead, in careful handwriting, she had written, "Already married, to my responsibilities." It was strange. Unprofessional. Out of place. The panel exchanged glances. Someone cleared their throat. "Miss Ayesha, could you explain this?" Mr. Naveed asked, tapping the words with his pen. She smiled faintly, though there was something tired in her eyes. "Sir, I have no husband. But I care for my younger brother and my ill mother. They are my first family. I can't think of marriage until I know they're safe. My responsibilities, they are my commitment." The room went silent. One of the senior directors shifted uncomfortably, clearly unsure how to respond. The world of business was rarely sentimental. But something about her tone made it impossible to just brush off. Still, rules were rules. That strange statement made her appear distracted, possibly unreliable for a demanding job. When she left the room, the whispers began. "It's a job, not a charity case. Why put something so personal in an application? She'll be the last candidate we consider." And indeed, she was. Hours passed, and as the sun dipped behind the glass building, only her file remained on the table, almost forgotten. The day after the interviews, the panel gathered to make their final choice. 2 candidates had strong qualifications, polished communication skills, and availability for travel, things the company valued. Ayesha's name wasn't even on the shortlist. But as they were about to finalize the decision, the company's CEO, Mr. Cameron, happened to walk in. He was an old-school businessman, rarely involved in lower-level hiring decisions, but today he wanted to check in. "Any interesting candidates?" he asked casually. Mr. Naveed hesitated, then chuckled. "Well, there was one. Not qualified enough, and she wrote something strange on her form. See here," he slid the paper toward him. The CEO read the words. "Already married, to my responsibilities." His expression didn't change, but he read it again. Slowly. "Call her," he said. The HR team exchanged puzzled glances. "Sir, she's not." "I said, call her." His tone left no room for argument. The next morning, Ayesha was surprised to receive a call asking her to return to the office. She entered the CEO's cabin nervously, unsure if she was in trouble. Mr. Cameron looked up from his desk and studied her for a moment. "Tell me, why write this on a job form?" Her voice trembled slightly as she answered. "Because it's the truth, sir. I know employers want someone who can give their entire time to the company. But I can't lie, my family needs me too. I work hard, I never break my commitments, and I will give my best here, but I won't pretend my life outside doesn't exist. There was a long silence. Then, to her shock, Mr. Cameron smiled. You remind me of my mother, he said quietly. She raised me and my brothers alone. I've never forgotten the strength it took. He slid a contract across the desk. Welcome to the company, Miss Ayesha. Tears pricked her eyes. She had walked in ready to defend herself, but instead, she was being given a chance. Not despite her truth, but because of it. Months later, Ayesha's work ethic earned her praise across the office. She never missed a deadline, and though she left on time to be with her family, she delivered results better than many who stayed late. The CEO often said in meetings, "We hire skills. But sometimes, we should hire character. Skills can be taught. Strength can't." Moral: sometimes, the very truth we think will close doors is the one that opens the right one.